Hi, I'm Shelley Wilson. I'm a multi-genre author of over 20 books and a writing mentor. Welcome to the Campervan Writer Show. Why on earth have I started a podcast? I've got so much to do. I run my own business. I'm a single mum of 3. I love solo travelling in Snoopy, and I've got loads of clients who are working on their books, so I'm supporting them as well. So why on earth would I want to throw a podcast into the mix? Well, there is a story behind this. So this summer I was on holiday with my daughter, having a fabulous time, and I checked my emails and there was a message from my publisher. Now, I've been with my publisher for 9 years. We've had a fantastic relationship, and the email just said, "We're closing our doors." And I spiraled. I have to admit, it was the most scary email I'd ever read, because what did that mean for me? They have published 13 of my 21 books, and by the end of that month, they would all disappear off all sales platforms. So from a writing perspective, I didn't know. I really didn't know what to do. It was really scary. Luckily, my daughter was with me on holiday. She managed to talk me off a few ledges. And I think being on holiday was probably really helpful, because I was able to just sit, breathe, think, what am I going to do next? It was scary, I'm not going to lie. I think when you are told that your life's work is just going to vanish overnight, what do you do? So in the time from the holiday to them closing to me getting my reversion of rights letter back, I did a lot of thinking. I did a lot of planning. And one of the things that I thought I'd do was talk about it, because I know a lot of other writers who this has happened to. Their publishers have closed down for a number of reasons. What do you do in that instance? How do you pick yourself up, dust yourself down and start going? With my writing mentor clients, I talk about how to get going, how to start writing, how to publish, how to market. So everything I'm having to do from scratch again is everything I teach anyway. And it kind of got me thinking, well, hang on a second, why don't I just start a podcast, talk about all those tiny little elements, throw in a few solo travelling moments at the same time, and just see how it landed with my audience. So the Campervan Writer Show was born. That's what I'm doing now. I want to share my own journey with you. I want to share what I've learnt, mistakes I've made, and I have made plenty, and hopefully inspire you to start writing your book, maybe be your accountability buddy as you're writing your book, and all the other bits in between as well. So that's why I'm here. That's why I started this podcast. And I really do hope that you find value in it, and that you enjoy listening to my warblings and following my journey as well, as I travel around in my camper van. One of the things that I did do, so I have a subscriber list, and I have some amazing ladies and gents in there who have an email from me every single Friday. And I asked them the kind of questions that I should be answering on a podcast like this. And so throughout the series, that as we go on, I'm going to be answering those questions, and hopefully any that come up for yourself as well. So drop any that you have got into the comments, and I'll be sure to add them to future episodes, or answer them in the comments if it's a quick question. So today's episode is all about the first question I was asked from my lovely subscribers. And this week it's from Rowena. And she wanted to know if I had 3 top tips for getting started when you're staring at the blank page. Blank page syndrome. It's real, I promise you. Now, it doesn't matter if you're writing pen and paper or whether you've got your laptop on and that flashing cursor is looking at you. The blank page is the blank page. And when you're brand new to writing, that can be so intimidating. I've been there myself. When I've done my first book, it was, how am I going to get going? Even on my 20th book, it was like, oh my goodness, I've got to do this again. So it never really leaves you. You're always having to learn and develop your craft and just pick up your big girl pants and do some writing. So that's what I want to share with you in this episode today. My top 3 tips that will help you if you're already staring at that blank page and you're not quite sure how to get going. So my first tip is outlining. If you've got a plan, then that takes half of the stress and the worry out of it. I'm sitting in Snoopy, my VW camper. We go off on all kinds of adventures, but I wouldn't just jump in and drive. I always have a roadmap. I always have my A to Z to the side. I always have my sat nav on. I know where I'm going, roughly, and then I'll kind of backtrack and work out how I'm going to get there, what pit stops I'm going to take along the way. Are there any lovely little farm shops I can stop at? That's what we need when we're writing. We need that same kind of roadmap. So when you're looking at that blank screen and it feels overwhelming, if you've got a list of bullet points, a chapter by chapter outline, it can be as detailed as you want, it can just be a few notes. Something to the side of you that helps you work out your thoughts can be an amazing way of getting over that fear of the blank page. So if you're at that stage where I want to write a book, I'm looking at my paper, oh my goodness, where do I start? Then that's a great place to begin. Just jot your ideas down on the page and go from there. Honestly, having anything written on the page is really, really helpful. And I got a top tip as well about notebooks. So I love a notebook. I am a pen and paper girl when it comes to plotting and outlining, and then I'll type straight onto my laptop once I get going on my manuscripts. But I had a workshop once where one of the ladies said, how do I get past that first beautiful page when you've got a gorgeous notebook and you open it up and it's really pristine and you don't want to write in it? So top tip, turn to the second page and start writing then. So every time you open that lovely notebook, it's always got a gorgeous first page and you can start writing from the second page on. So cheeky top tip for you there as well. So my second tip is, before you start writing, is to do a little bit of a warm-up. So I want you to think about this as if you were going to the gym, as if you were going to run a marathon. You wouldn't just rock up with your trainers on and run 26 miles. And if you do, then you're a better person than me, because I absolutely couldn't do that. You'd warm up. You'd know that you needed to make sure your muscles were okay, you were stretching, that you were prepared. And it's the same for writing. Think of your brain as your writing muscle. So have a warm up. When you're looking at that blank page, think to yourself, I'm just going to write anything here. I'm going to describe the weather outside my window. I'm going to grab an email and take a subject line heading, and I'm going to write a short story about it. I'm going to use my favourite song lyrics and I'm going to write a story about them. Just pluck any idea you can out of thin air and then write about that prompt. And it might only be 50, 100 words. It really doesn't matter. What it's doing is warming up your brain, ready to start your project. And all of a sudden, that blank page, it doesn't seem quite so scary. So writing prompts I adore. And in my Facebook group, I do a writing prompt every single Wednesday that everyone is welcome to just jump on, have a go at, see what they think. Some of the ladies and gents that are in there have always said, oh, I've used a scene, I use it in a scene for my book. Others have just used it as blog posts or LinkedIn ideas. So prompts are really, really handy to know what you're doing and to get you started and to break that fear over the blank page as well. So tip number 3 is a book recommendation for you as well. And it's from Stephen Guise, who does Mini Habits. And it's a brilliant book. Really, really recommend it. And in the book, he talks about, from a writing perspective, he talks about telling your brain you're going to write 50 words. No more, just 50 words. Now, our brains are amazing things, and if I had my time again, I would definitely go into neuroscience or psychology or something, because it really is a fascinating topic. But if I wanted to say, oh, I'm going to write a 75,000 word romance, my brain would automatically go into, well, hang on a minute, we've never done that before. Oh, no, don't think that's a good idea. Let's throw all the ideas into your head about how that will go wrong. And you'll believe them, because your brain will find evidence of when you've tried something new and it didn't work out. So what we do is we trick our brain into getting going. And by doing that, we're sitting down and saying, do you know what? today's writing session, I'm going to do 50 words. That's all I'm going to do, just 50 words. Brilliant, that's all. And you start typing or you start writing. Now, the action of getting started opens the floodgates, and all of a sudden your brain is like, oh, actually, do you know, this isn't so bad. I'm going to do 100 words. Oh, yeah, okay, we're still going, so maybe 200 words. And before you know it, you've had a 2,000 word writing sprint when at the beginning of the day, you had absolutely no intention of doing any words whatsoever. So the brain, think about how you can trick your own brain into not fearing that blank page and getting the words down, and tell yourself that you're only going to do it in tiny little fits and starts until you can get comfortable doing a lot more. So they're my 3 top tips for fear of the blank page. So your outline or your roadmap, your writing prompt and having a bit of a warm up of your brain, and start small. Just a few words, tell yourself that's all you're going to do, and then see what happens going forward. I'm going to finish off today's episode with a lovely quote that will hopefully tie up everything that I've just said for you. And it's from Ernest Hemingway. All you need to do is write truly and not care what the fate of it is. So there you go. If you've got any questions about today's episode, or you've got any topics that you want me to cover, drop your ideas into the comments and be sure to subscribe and join me again next week for a next episode.